Have you ever felt alone in a crowded room? That strange sensation when your thoughts run deeper than the casual conversations around you? That moment when you realize your mind is operating on a completely different frequency from everyone else? If you've experienced this, you're not alone. Today we're going to explore why society often fears its most intelligent members, a phenomenon that the great philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer understood all too well. Before we dive into today's fascinating exploration, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more content that challenges conventional thinking and dives deep into the human mind. Let's embark on a journey to understand one of society's most intriguing paradoxes. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that shows not just your reflection, but all your hidden thoughts and beliefs. Uncomfortable, isn't it? That's exactly what intelligent people represent to society. A mirror that reflects uncomfortable truths most would rather ignore. They're like a bright light suddenly switched on in a dark room, making everyone squint and turn away. Think about this for a moment. When you meet someone physically stronger than you might admire them. When you encounter someone wealthier, you might feel a hint of envy. But when you face someone intellectually superior, something strange happens. It triggers a primal fear, a discomfort that runs deeper than simple jealousy. This reaction isn't just in your imagination, it's deeply rooted in human psychology. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, observed that people don't just fear what's unknown, they fear what forces them to question themselves. He believed that intelligent people act as catalysts for what he called shadow confrontation, forcing others to face the parts of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. It's not the intelligence itself that frightens people. It's the mirror it holds up to their own limitations. Consider a time when you shared a deep thought in a casual conversation. Did you notice how quickly people changed the subject? How their eyes glazed over? How the atmosphere suddenly became tense? This isn't coincidence. It's a defense mechanism. Our brains are wired to protect our worldview, our sense of self. When someone challenges these deeply held beliefs, even indirectly, our minds sound the alarm. Modern neuroscience has revealed something fascinating. When people feel intellectually threatened, their amygdala, the brain's fear center, activates in the same way it would if they faced physical danger. Research at Stanford University showed that in group settings, this response becomes even more pronounced. It's as if our ancient tribal brain sees intellectual superiority as a threat to our social standing, our place in the group. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago when he wrote that people would rather be comfortable than face difficult truths. He noticed how societies often praised those who maintained pleasant illusions while shunning those who spoke uncomfortable truths. He observed that the masses don't just prefer simple explanations, they actively resist complex ones, even when those complex explanations might benefit them. But why does intelligence, more than any other quality, provoke such strong reactions? The answer lies in how we define ourselves. Our thoughts, beliefs, and understanding of the world form the core of our identity. When someone challenges these through their intelligence, it feels like an attack on who we are. Psychologist Abraham Maslow noted that this threatens our self-actualization needs, creating what he called cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortable feeling when our beliefs are challenged. Think of society like a calm pond. Each person has their place, their reflection in the water. When a deep thinker comes along, they're like a stone dropped into that pond. Their insights create ripples that disturb everyone's comfortable reflection. People don't resist intelligence because it's wrong. They resist it because it disrupts their sense of order, their comfortable illusions about themselves and the world. Schopenhauer called this the cursed clarity of vision. He believed that intelligent people see through the illusions that make life bearable for others. They notice the contradictions in social norms, the flaws in common beliefs, the emptiness in casual interactions. This clarity comes at a price. The more you understand, the harder it becomes to find genuine connections. It's like being able to see the strings in a puppet show while everyone else is lost in the story. Recent psychological studies have deepened our understanding of this phenomenon. Research has shown that highly intelligent people often experience what psychologists call intellectual isolation. This isn't just about being smart. It's about the emotional burden of seeing patterns and connections that others miss. It's about feeling the weight of understanding when others prefer the lightness of ignorance. The digital age has added new layers to this dynamic. Social media algorithms favor quick, emotional reactions over thoughtful analysis. Studies show that posts containing complex ideas receive less engagement than those triggering basic emotions like anger or amusement. This creates what sociologists call intellectual echo chambers, where deep thinkers find themselves increasingly isolated in a world that values entertainment over enlightenment. History proves this pattern repeatedly. Look at Galileo, who was punished not for being wrong, but for being right at the wrong time. Consider Tesla, whose brilliant mind threatened the established order. Think about Alan Turing, whose genius was overshadowed by society's prejudices. These weren't just smart people. They were mirrors, showing society its own limitations, its own fears, its own resistance to progress. But there's an even deeper psychological aspect to this fear. Freud spoke about the concept of intellectual anxiety, the fear not just of being wrong, but of having our entire worldview challenged. When we encounter someone whose intelligence forces us to question our beliefs, it triggers what he called cognitive defense mechanisms. We might dismiss them as arrogant, label them as overthinking, or simply avoid engaging with their ideas. This fear of intelligence manifests in subtle ways in our daily lives. Notice how people often praise practical knowledge over theoretical understanding. Observe how overthinking has become almost an insult in casual conversation. Watch how society often celebrates those who simplify complex issues rather than those who explore their full depth. These are all symptoms of what psychologists call anti-intellectualism, a cultural tendency to prefer simple explanations over complex truths. The isolation that intelligent people experience isn't just social, it's emotional. They often find themselves in what psychologist Kazimierz Dabrowski called positive disintegration, a state where their understanding of the world's complexities makes it difficult to find satisfaction in ordinary social interactions. It's like being able to see in color in a world where others see in black and white. But here's where it gets interesting. This isolation isn't always negative. Many great thinkers throughout history have used their solitude as a source of creativity and insight. Einstein spoke about the necessity of being alone for deep thought. Newton made some of his greatest discoveries during his period of isolation. Sometimes, being removed from the constant chatter of society allows the mind to explore ideas that the crowd might not be ready to consider. In today's world, this dynamic has taken on new forms. The pressure to conform, to simplify, to dumb things down has never been stronger. Social media rewards quick, catchy phrases over nuanced discussion. The fast pace of modern life leaves little room for deep contemplation. Yet paradoxically, this might be exactly why we need intelligent people more than ever. For those who recognize themselves in this description, remember, your ability to think deeply isn't a curse. It's a gift that society needs, even if it doesn't always know it. The discomfort you create isn't a sign of failure. It's often a sign that you're seeing something others aren't ready to see. As Carl Jung said, thinking is difficult, That's why most people judge. The solution isn't to dim your light, but to learn to use it wisely. Sometimes it means finding the right audience for your insights. Other times, it means learning to translate complex ideas into more accessible language. But it never means stopping your quest for understanding. Society may fear intelligence, but it also desperately needs it. As we wrap up this exploration, here's a thought to consider. Throughout history, every major breakthrough, every significant change, started with someone who thought differently, someone who made others uncomfortable, someone who saw through the illusions of their time. The fear they encountered wasn't a sign of failure. It was a sign that they were pushing the boundaries of human understanding. If you felt isolated because of how your mind works, remember that you're part of a long tradition of thinkers who've helped push humanity forward, even when society wasn't ready for their insights. Your ability to see deeper, think further, and question more isn't just a personal trait. It's a vital force for human progress. Before you go, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences with this phenomenon. Have you felt this intellectual isolation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help others understand they're not alone in their journey of deep thinking. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Together, we're building a community where deep thinking isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. Until next time, keep thinking deeply. And remember, sometimes making others uncomfortable means you're on the right track. After all, as Schopenhauer said, talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see.